Well, let's keep talking about G2 then, because I think this is interesting. We'll talk about the league as a whole for those who want to hear more about what was an insane week of upsets, because it's just interesting to follow this road down. What do you think is like, why have the last 2 weeks, and obviously there was a break between them, why were those weeks like so difficult? Like what made finding these wins so hard for you guys?
Honestly, I feel like it was quite individual performances. I think that as a team, we still had like a decent idea on how to play the game, but at some points I felt like we fell behind on the meta. We were too slow to adapt to the patches, because as soon as we came back from MSI, the meta was still the same from MSI. Yeah, of course there was durability patch, but the champions played were like pretty much the same. And then I think over the course of couple of patches, the meta shifted a bit, and we fell behind. So that was one of the problems, in my opinion. The other problem was individual performances. I felt like we were just dying in the early game everywhere, right? You can even bring up me and Caps dying 2v2 to Julius and Certus, I think, against SK Gaming this weekend. But you can also bring up bot lane getting solo killed, top lane getting solo killed, or ganked, right? Or us losing 2v2 with BB against Fnatic. So I feel like there's just many things that went wrong, and it was either in the jungle department or in the mid lane department or the top lane department, bot lane department, like everyone was just sucking. So I feel like it's very easy to say why we lost, because we just played really badly, right? And sometimes you have these struggles as a team where you go into 30-minute games and you're like, oh my God, we didn't know how to play on Drake, or we messed up this Baron. For us, it's like very straightforward. Like every game is just lost in 10 minutes. So if the game is just not lost in 10 minutes, we can probably win. You know, we probably know how to play the game after 15 minutes. We even like stalled one of the, I think all of these games we stalled, we got some Drakes. We actually did make some mistakes in the mid games where maybe we could have closed out the games against, for example, Misfits or SK Gaming. I feel like this weekend was very, very winnable. But I think against Fnatic and Mad Lions, I feel like the games were just so difficult to play already from like 10 minutes onwards, right? And it was more on enemy team throwing than us winning. So this is a big vocal point right now for us is to, you know, fix that, fix the laning phase, fix the jungle piping, or rather fix the early game as a whole, and I think we can do that.
A lot to fix for G2. Well, yesterday at least they stopped their losing streak by beating us. Yes, there it is!
There is no way that's wow, he's beautiful.
He is gorgeous.
Oh
Look
my
at that.
God, I'm in love.
Ari Star Guardian, I believe. Cosplay must be. I'm just mesmerized. Oh, bye, oh no, we've cut it off. Whatever it said, we'll show it again later. Oh, I'm so glad he's gonna play like that. That's crazy. Like, we're already uncomfortable if you wear like a shirt or a suit, and I'm really excited for that. But in any case, it's G2 versus Rogue, if you hadn't gathered it. We, of course, just heard Jankos talk about some of the issues for G2. They did bounce back versus Astralis, but that's a lot, I think, Jamada. You know, both meta read, both individual performances, both not being able to come back if it doesn't work out. How do you feel about G2 right now?
It's a lot to take in, like you say. I think when you've got so many issues going on, and Jankos, I think, outlined it perfectly. We've seen, literally, he brought up examples for us. We don't even necessarily have to dive deep into it. I think a lot of the time, especially when it happens week after week, like what we saw in the 4-game loss streak, you can start to get into your head a bit. I would hope for the sake of, you know, the likes of G2, and you've got Jankos Caps, the experience kind of trumps it. I'm not sure how I feel about the issues when you look towards how they're going to potentially look into Rogue, though. Yeah.
We're going to take a look at some of how they played versus Astralis yesterday, but how much do we need to take out of that game in terms of a jump-off point for today, knowing that it was the messiest game I've ever seen?
I think at least in this game, they understood the meta. Like, I think coming into this new patch, they're like, all right, we messed up big time last week, but this is a new patch coming in, and we can watch LPL. We've seen the picks, we've seen the poppies, we've seen the Gwens, we've seen the Taliyah. It's easy for them to now have that to rely on. Was the early game still faulty? Yes. Yes, it very, very much so was. But at least now you fixed one of your issues, which was the patch and the meta. Now you can start working towards the other things, and that's the build-up we want to see.
Yeah, I think you say you fixed one of the issues, but into Rogue is quite interesting, because we talked to Trymbi also yesterday, remember? And he said, oh, we're willing to really pick things that people will be afraid of, you know, like that we can really counter in the lane, or that they have to pay attention to our bot lane, etc., and willing to take risks there. I think it's an interesting draft, even if you have the meta figured out.
And I think that's kind of spooky to hear from Rogue out of all teams, right? Because Rogue are normally very much like, they don't tend to historically kind of go out there for sort of unorthodox picks. Normally they're just buy the meta, buy the books, and they'll just play their game. I think for G2, looking at how they could potentially have to deal with some of those weird picks as well, depending on how Rogue feel into G2, I think at least we saw a good meta read yesterday.
Yeah.
And that could at least give us some hope to say, okay, if Rogue come out with something weird, G2 could have something pretty.
It's really the question of, is G2 back because of that win versus Astralis? I think this is going to tell us a lot. Let's dive into the top lane matchup. Of course, we glossed over it because we saw Odo in his cosplay, and I think we're going to see it again. But regardless of that, BrokenBlade versus Odo is going to be a huge matchup. Oh, the live replay.
Okay.
There we go. What is on the side?
Yeah, that's the big thing.
It's really hard to get out of those cards, actually.
Beauty and the Beast,
so
the same
hyped.
person.
He looks hyped.
There he is.
I don't know if hyped is the word out to you.
Oh my
So hyped.
Buy your effing skin so I don't have to do this again. Okay, great. He nailed that. So let's talk about the top lane matchup then.
It's the walk, man.
And the walk, the strut. Me, I'm just trying to get into the analysis, but this is actually much more entertaining, to be fair. So GB saved me.
Yeah, okay, so that man on your screen you saw right there, and then the two gentlemen behind me, where one of them is actually still the same, they were the MVPs of their games, both of them yesterday. Odoamne on the Gangplank was phenomenal, finding the barrel chain and team fight, setting them all up, and that what makes him so scary, because not only can you leave him by himself with very limited amount of resources, he'll make the best out of them.
We talked so much about Odo, we actually already have to go to the casters. Quick prediction, G2 or Rogue?
Rogue.
Yeah.
She said quick.
Wow.
Rogue.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, quick.
No belief in G2. Drakos and Caedrel, what do you think?
We were really distracted by the Odoamne cosplay, so we did not hear your question. I apologize. But we are ready for Rogue in G2 Esports. Who will win? That is a good question. Production just told me the question. Thank you, production. Genius. Hard to say. When Jankos says things on Euphoria like, we're just bad in the early game and we need to play better, kind of hard to bet on that, I'm not going to lie. And Rogue have been the kings of consistency. Larssen absolutely popped off yesterday. That said, every time I feel like we think we've got G2 figured out, whether it's they're the best team in the league or they're like 7th, they always surprise us. And they've been surprising us so far. This week, obviously, came back swinging, and I think they might be able to do the same today.
The music, the lights. That means we're getting into draft, and I can see a sign that says, Dylan, we have to go Vayne. Dylan, are we going Vayne?
Ooh, and this funky jam, suitable for a birthday party or a draft.
It's the relaxing part of the game, you know. You
It's
see
the
Malrang,
relaxing.
Comp's got his hands on it near his head, back to the chair. Malrang's inclined his chair a bit back. Odoamne's chilling. We're looking at OPs here. Zeri already taken away by Rogue. We're looking at Silas. We're looking at Gnar. We're looking at Poppy. We're looking at maybe a Lucian Nami if it sneaks through, something like that. We'll see if any target bans comes out. I think thinking of Azir for Rogue, perhaps. There's a Diana onto Jankos. You know, you want to stop any kind of shenanigans around the Diana, Yasuo, Yone train.
Absolutely.
So yeah, blue side good for target bans. That's why it's so strong. Red side almost has these locked-in bans. But right now we're at a stage in the meta where there's so many OP champs to trade across that red side actually can sometimes trade evenly.
Sometimes can trade evenly. Obviously, when there's so many OP champions, sometimes it diminishes the value of those counter picks. We're just going to have to see.
Fans.
It's an absolute fist fight in the audience. Well, not literally, which I appreciate. Just a lot of a vocal fist fight, as they would say.
Looking at the draft here.
Oh my, sir! You are fit. You are pounding that chest. I respect it. That is commitment to fandom. Rogue versus G2. We'll give you some guys. We'll shut up for the first 30 seconds of the game, and you guys could do the LCK thing if you want, where you like trade cheers, see who's louder.
Wow.
Yeah.
A Kalista first pick.
Kalista first pick. Now, comp obviously incredibly solid on the champion, but this champion is very feast or famine. We have seen great Kalista games from comp. We've seen great Kalista games across the world. We've also seen Kalista games where she doesn't get a lead and becomes instantly useless.
We'll track that. A lot of OPs up. Gnar, Silas, Renata. Does Rogue gonna pick up the Gnar straight away? BrokenBlade already just blinded the Gwen. A lot of confidence in that champ. I mean, G2 needs some kind of early game-ish AD jungler here because you have double AP solo laners. I'm thinking of things like Lee Sin perhaps for Jankos, Poppy, Wukong, Trundle down means that pool has been pinched. Viego can work as well, of course. And
That's with Kog'Maw, a creative answer, a very slow, immobile champion, but has a lot more range than Taliyah.
You can't really do this because they can slam Jarvan on 3 here, and then the Kog'Maw is just so nullified. So I think this is obviously just a hover. Kalista, Mumu, classic.
Azir.
Azir, of course, it's Larssen.
The Emperor.
It's Larssen. We're going to get Azir.
God. And I'm excited because basically we're looking at Caps play one of the best, if not the best, mid laner in the current meta versus Larssen's. I don't want to say signature pick. It's debatable if it's Corki or Azir, but one of his OG signature picks. Always going to be thrilling, and especially in a matchup where sole control of first is on the line. If Rogue lose here, they're tied with Mad. They're neck and neck, and that's a clear top 2. G2, on the other hand, in the thick of it, tied for 5th right now with Fnatic. Need to find these wins, need to pull ahead to catch up with teams like Excel, teams like Vitality.
It's almost like a breakout game here for G2 with the slump that they've been having. Beating Rogue is definitely the path back to success that they're so thriving for. And now there's the Aphelios into the Kalista lane support matchup, expecting G2 to play for the counts pick there. Of course, they'll pick up their jungler on 4 unless something like the Renata Nautilus is up, just trying to go for the best support available. So we'll see if that gets pinched. Of course, Rogue here could ban away things like, well, as I say that, G2 banned the Jarvan. So the jungle pools are going to get extremely pinched here now that I think about it. There's already 4 down. Lee Sin Diego, the next couple you have to imagine. And then you're getting into some whack territory. We've seen Nocturne from Owner. Maybe we'll see things like the Skarner perhaps. It's dependent on what Rogue opt into.
Stop. Don't say Skarner. Don't do that. Don't do that to me. Renata ban, love to see it. Incredibly powerful, doubly so when there's an auto-attacking mid laner like Azir in the game. Even without the Sand Soldiers, even with just the basic auto attacks can be a threat. Time to see, though, what the next focus is going to be. Will they continue to ban away the jungle pool? What do they have in mind for Jankos? Vi also taken off the board. I'm interested. Is there a potential Taliyah flex here? Seems unlikely given that Gwen is already locked in. Feels like we're looking for an AD jungler.
It could be, but then the thing is Taliyah is stronger mid, right? So you need a very good argument to put her jungle and then pick a mid laner that is probably AD, you have to imagine, because you know if you're playing a mage now, you're triple AP topside. So this is definitely going mid, I have to think, unless they've got an incredibly good pocket pick like some kind of Yasuo coming out here on 4/4. Caps. Otherwise, Lee Sin is the safe bet. We'll see what Malrang can counter with. He's not short for champions when it comes to finding anything that can gank level 2 or 3. Hecarim as well might be a big pick.
I mean, when was the last time you had to see someone dig 7 champs deep into a jungle champ pool? There's usually only 3 champs in the jungle meta, let alone 8 or 9, as we're now going to see in this draft. So what is the option going to be? Xin, really solid. Taliyah kill lane potential. You leap in, you get the slow, makes for the easy knockback into the Unraveled Earth. Clean, reliable mid lane setup. Something to keep track of as we go later. And now the response from Rogue.
Oh, don't do it, Malrang. Against Xin, Zhao, Taliyah, Gwen, is he going to go for the Rek'Sai? I think that's just going to be a hover, surely, right? I mean, you do need early game. You need to get this Kalista ahead. Level 3, fantastic on blue side to gank. Lee Sin will just be the better option, the safer option, and the smarter option, you have to imagine. Can play fights in many different ways, extremely flexible. Volibear.
Whoa, post-nerf Volibear. That is a commitment from Malrang. This champion was supposed to be dead, essentially removed from pro play. Might as well have been removed from solo queue too, how hard these nerfs hit. But see what he can do with it.
And it's because you max Q on Volibear normally when you're looking for early ganks. W is better for the 1v1, but the damage on your W and Q just got nerfed. The move speed on your Q got nerfed. The damage overall from Volibear is just extremely lower. You think of the amount of damage a level 3 Volibear can do in a combo. Is that a Sejuani? Wait, is that Sejuani support here for Trymbi? Now G2 have been thrown a curveball. You thought you were counter-picking a Nautilus support here. Now you're up against the Sejuani. What is their response? Tahm Kench would be the safe bet. I mean, you can just pull him out of the... No, it's not Taliyah.
Targamas.
No, he's teasing us here.
Stop playing with our heart, man. We've had enough. The Sejuani was stressful enough.
He's teasing us here, surely, right? I mean, Taliyah bot into Kalista does, you know what I'm saying?
You can just leap through with an in. All right, Tahm Kench. It's not flashy, it's boring, but it's good. It's good. Trust him, it's good. It's good.
No, it's not Volibear top, right? It's definitely Volibear jungle. Should be Sejuani top.
I mean...
no, Sejuani support, sorry. What am I saying? God, even I'm getting mixed up in this draft. Yeah, it's Gnar top. So, Sejuani support with the Kalista. We'll see how that works out. I mean, the problem that Rogue have is Sejuani functions with mini-champs, right? Yep. You know, Sejuani Wukong top jungle. Yep. Sejuani Renekton was an ultra classic because you can proc the stun so easily. It's on Trymbi and Malrang to proc the stuns. Now, if the Volibear Q hits, they have a lot of chain CC. It's just a case of whether they can connect that. But of course, Sejuani engage is as simple as dashing forwards, throwing a big thing, it hits the first target. There's your answer. So Rogue, really good team fight. A little bit of split push with Odoamne on the Gnar. Probably playing more towards bot side here in G2. A lot of roam potential from Caps, 2 side lanes that he can opt into, which will want to push and will want to snowball a bit in their isolated lanes. But Caps definitely has something to say about it if he can leave his lane.
Thank you. I was waiting, bated breath. I was like, what word is possibly going to come next? Early game is going to be huge for both of these teams. The studio audience divided. Rogue fans, G2 fans, Carmine Corp fans.
OTP shout out there. Go Targamas.
I mean, pressure on both sides. Again, a lot of stakes when it comes to standings. It is just a single best of one, but finding advantages, finding leads here early on. Now it's time for us to get into game. Rogue versus G2. All right, we're new to this. Are there any Rogue fans in the house?
Not bad.
Not bad. G2 fans, do you think you can do better?
Oh yeah, they can do a hell of a lot better.
They did.
More numbers and louder. So G2, the
Fan
Berlin favorites
for this time.
Yeah.
The
Sitting
Rogue.
at 5-5.
Yep.
Not something we expected from G2 from such a stellar first couple of weeks where they picked up those 4 wins.
And obviously, again, standings big here. Rogue sitting at the top, can hold on to that space on top, move up to 9-2 to end this week would be big moving forward, or they could be tied with Mad Lions, making them our clear top 2 in the regular season. And the battle in the stands, just as furious as the one on the Rift.
Berlin erupting here. A battle of cheers going on for both these teams. And I think this game is extremely important for G2. Rogue can afford to drop a game. They're sitting pretty comfy with 8 wins. But G2 need to turn this ship around.
And a reminder, oh man, they're not stopping. You guys are out of control. Whether you're a Rogue fan or a G2 fan, I love you. I'm so glad you guys are here. You're absolutely killing it. Fantastic live audience. You guys are the real heroes again today. Thank you, thank you. We'll focus back in on the game now as we get to the laning phase, but reminder, EU 4 slots at Worlds, which means regular season finish is so important. You can secure Worlds without winning a best of 5 if you finish first. Rogue currently in pole position to do so.
Mutual agreement in chance there. I think both G2 and Rogue have come together with the chance to start going for TSM. But yeah, you're correctly right. These are the 2 teams we expect to be contending or have the expectations on their players and their organization to be at that World Championship.
Absolutely. For G2, fell short last year, but the pedigree of players and certainly G2's appearance at MSI makes them clear favorites for at least one of those positions. For now, though, Jankos, aggressive early pathing, moving himself down to the bottom side. The Volibear, something we have to track. Remember, heavily nerfed, but maybe with the power of Sejuani, can get something done.
Malrang, really quick clear here. Red Raptors into Krugs around the bot side of the map. We'll find Targamas. A little bit of action might kick off, but no, gets spotted, takes the ward. Now he's forced back towards mid-top side. The only issue he has here is he knows that Jankos is pathing down, and he's going to look to try to find him. Jankos will hit level 3. Will he go into the river? No, he'll go for his blue buff for now. Now, the issue Malrang has here is he doesn't want to leave his bot lane alone because it's a Kalista lane, but he has to clear his top camp. So inevitably, G2 should know that eventually Malrang will be on this top side jungle, and Jankos can try to punish something down here. Maybe look for some kind of early dives, but will be incredibly difficult.
Yeah. And you can see in the mid lane, Larssen coming out on top in these early trades. Obviously can, with the soldiers, trade through the wave, whereas Caps is limited in where he can throw those rocks, has to try to find an angle. So simple early laning phase, but Jankos coming in. Larssen, does he have the shifting sands to dash away? Looks like he will not need it. Jankos just buying a bit of space for Caps.
Wow, just a trade-off of junglers here. I mean, both of them got to level 3, and they're both looking for ganks everywhere. Malrang will get this top crab, and Jankos might try to invade this top side with Caps, but he needs to push out this next wave. He'll see the crab is down. BrokenBlade's pushed out top, and now Jankos will move into the jungle. He's got his top laner by his side. Caps will push in this mid and join. Malrang knows they're on the way, so he doesn't want to show. He's being extremely sneaky here, and he's going to take the fight.
Obviously, Volibear still powerful in the early trades, but BrokenBlade coming in should mean surely a dead Malrang. Gnar ready to come over the wall. Malrang flashing out. Jankos could be in trouble. Good bit of poke. He can just take his time on this one, wait for Mega. BrokenBlade has to step forward. Jankos can heal up off the blue buff. Good highlight there, Caedrel. Jankos now focused on the objective.
Might get baited here. Jankos has smite, so if he overcommits here, it could get turned.
Coming in. He is going to smite that one out. Well played by G2. A close exchange, however. Sand Soldier's poking. Targamas on the way up too. Odoamne looks like he's ready to commit. He has the flash. He has the wall up, but both sides backing away. Disaster averted. G2 still securing the blue.
Both these teams ready to throw punches, though. You can see the early game junglers coming out, looking for plays around the map. Jankos trying to punish this pathing by Malrang. Does get the blue buff in the end. Won't hurt the Volibear too much, but does get the +1 on the camp. Now both supports are around mid. Targamas here to help Caps get the push once again. And you can see G2 want to use their mid laner to move around the map, look for these plays, bring as many members as possible to invade onto Malrang. And Rogue need to collapse, respond, and defend their jungler. Round 1 goes to G2.
And I think it's so big there that G2 are able to force the invade on top side and contest that blue. It makes sure that Larssen has to TP back to mid lane, so it is an EVT pit trade. Ooh.
So Jankos there tried to use the W from the bush to hit Odo, and then maybe he would just run forwards, flash, auto-attack him, and if Odo flashes, he can match with the E. That was the general idea there. Even if the W connects, he can flash afterwards anyway, after he does use the Audacious Charge. So Odo gonna escape with his life, still unsure where Jankos is, so you can see he wants to crash this wave, but he needs to find out where Jankos is. Can take a pretty good guess here. Probability is he's probably based. If he hasn't, he's wasting a lot of time on his top side, and my jungler might be able to punish that. And he is correct in guessing. Jankos moving towards his bot side respawn. Caps extremely low. Needs the base.
And this is really just so much aggressive trading in the mid lane, pushing back and forth on these waves. Malrang returning to mid lane. Again, really waiting to see what we'll see from Volibear this game when we get to the mid game, especially where those nerfs might affect him a little bit more. So far, he's been at least able to impact the map equally with Jankos, but something worth tracking on the bottom side. Lane farming evenly. It does not feel like a lane where we're going to see a lot of kill pressure until potentially level 6 at this point.
So you can see that wave bot is stacked up, and they want to crash it on the next wave, or on this one, and they want to look for a dragon, you have to imagine, because the only play here is just make sure it crashes.
Ooh, this
Malrang's around, and the Jankos are showing mid, so they have an opening here, but Rogue aren't going to take it. I think they just want to base here, because what it looks like happened, Rogue bot lane based came out, G2 is now based, and Rogue have a lot of gold to spend in their bot lane, so overstaying for too long would mean that they're at a gold disadvantage, so just want to match their enemy bot lane as much as possible.
Yeah, it does mean, however, that Comp has essentially cemented himself a bit of a CS lead on the bottom side. 200 gold lead will start to fade away as Flakked is finally here, but losing out on a bit of experience. And getting level 6 ahead of schedule for Comp could be big, but Flakked already at level 5 is not going to hurt too much.
This is the kind of game where one fight will explode it, because it'll explode in one direction, because the second a play happens, everyone will want to collapse. You can see Trymbi and Malrang already holding hands in this bot side river, trying to get this crab. Targamas around, Jankos on the way, and Caps can respond so quickly with the ultimate. It's the top laners who will be isolated, the 4v4. Whoever can put numbers first on the objective will always have an advantage. And it looks like G2 for now were able to push Rogue out.
Leash on the Scuttle Crab, getting the Honey Fruit as well. Take that one down. Control over the ocean is big, and obviously taking this objective so early on means that they're going to still have enough resources to contest Herald if they so choose. We'll see what the response is here from the side of Rogue, but it looks like for now they're just willing to give this one up, not looking to take the 3v3.
I think a Herald fight is what Rogue will look towards. Try to get Sejuani level 6, Kalista level 6, move their bot lane up and just take that fight. So much engage, so much base damage at level 6 that you can instantly burst down a target. Yes, this Sejuani is a support champ, but level 6 will do a hell of a lot of damage. Larssen gets caught by the W.
Pushed back, forced to use the ultimate. Will not have that up for the Herald fight, which is also crucial. So again, those small cooldowns.
So much mana burnt as well for Larssen there. Just makes this lane a hell of a lot harder. Any mid lane mains will know that using your full combo on Azir just hurts your mana bar so much that it forces you to take a base. Rogue get this wave in bot. Now, do they base and run top, or do they stay around for a little bit to try and get that level 6? Because the Herald is spawning in 5 seconds. Both junglers are on the top side, trying to get level 6 themselves. There's the Kalista level 6. Jankos a little bit ahead of Malrang right now.
And of course, the thing that always complicates Heralds is Aphelios being in the game. If he's left alone on the bot side with White Gun, he can usually take 2, 3, 4 plates, which can balance out a Herald. So something that has to be respected, and potentially why we're not seeing more members of Rogue immediately committed to the top side. That said, conceding this on top of conceding the Drake is brutal for Rogue in the early game.
Rogue just incredibly late to this. You can see they want to respond. The bot lane of Rogue is moving up, but look where they are. They're miles away. Rogue can't even take the fight. They're forced away. BrokenBlade trying to get the flash out of Odo. We'll just hop over that wall, ultimate invested, and there's nothing in return here, not of a response here from Rogue. They can't take away these bot camps. Malrang can't counter jungle. He's just left stuck in his own jungle and forced to back away, and now Jankos gonna help BrokenBlade push out top. And good early game here so far from G2.
And it is a bit awkward for Malrang, because I feel like the one thing that we know Volibear did really well was take over early games, and it's been pretty quiet. 0-0-0, 9 minutes in. Herald already gone, Dragon already gone. The window's certainly not gone, but running out of time to really make that champion feel impactful before the Xin, especially with the power of his ultimate, starts to take over.
Question is now, where will that Herald go? And if it goes to a side tower, how many numbers can G2 put on that side tower? Now Trymbi's level 6, he can look to team up with Malrang and look for plays onto Caps, for example, who will be extremely vulnerable if one CC lands. So now it's just about tracking the enemy laners. Making sure they're aware of where Trymbi is, making sure you're aware of the positioning of junglers. If Targamas can match Trymbi, who, of course, Targamas not even level 6 yet. It looks like they're going to go through mid, team up again. We saw this at level 4, we see it at level 6. The second anyone steps up, they will instantly die. So Targamas trying to fish for information. The crab is up, Targamas soloing it right now.
Zoning it away, pushing it towards the bottom side. The Chen dash is back, he might find himself in trouble. Just trying to zone it away, playing some good defense here. He tries to donate that one over to Flakked or to maybe to Jankos. Oh, they're a wholesome team. The birthday boy, give him a crab. Gift wrapped.
Cute. I mean, of course, any jungle main will know if someone took that crab, it's a quick ult F4. So I think GG's bot lane were very aware of that.
That sounds like that's against the Summoner's Code, sir. I don't know how I feel about that content.
But you can see there's been 4 stare downs in River. 2 crabs, 1 herald, 1 dragon, and G2 have scared Rogue away all 4 times. And Rogue still have so much tools that they can use to start a fight, but they still haven't found an angle. Jankos has been a level up on Malrang this whole game, and they haven't really walked past this river. We haven't seen Malrang and Trymbi in the enemy jungle yet, and this Kalista lane is something you want to play around or use to your advantage to force these early game fights, but G2 seems to be the ones favored.
Has felt like the case. And you talked about tracking the jungler earlier. They didn't have a lot of vision, but now they've taken the crab. Now they put a ward on the enemy bot side. It means there's a little bit more comfort available. Targamas also ticking over to level 6 means that dives on bot lane are a lot less viable. And as long as he hovers between bot and mid here, he can most likely keep, you know, Caps, the other point of vulnerability, pretty safe.
Not as much action as maybe the fans and we would have wanted. That is just teams responding to one another.
Sometimes, you know, you think you're getting MMA and you get Queen's Gambit. We just have to pretend that there's like this big mental chess battle happening on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Because right now it is a lot of farming, it's a lot of trading waves, it's a lot of moving around the map, and Rogue are pulling ahead in gold, but the Herald should balance that out. It is going to run out pretty soon here based on when they took it, so they need to find a lane to use it in. With Jankos on the top side, feels like it probably will be top lane.
Yeah, 40 seconds on the Dragon, that would be ideal for G2. So if Jankos does look top, I think Rogue will trade that objective. Odoamne has no flash, but there is a ward there, so the second he spots Jankos, he will start to back away. And Jankos will take away that ward, which was spotted by the sweeper that Targamas took on the entrance red buff. Now he's moving into the jungle, still a level up on Malrang, will win out on the 1v1, you have to imagine, but Rogue can collapse quite quickly, so Jankos just gonna opt out of that fight. Still has the Herald. I wonder if he's going to go mid now and place it down with Caps and then move towards this Dragon, because they want to start stacking them.
He's actually out of time. He's got maybe 15-20 seconds left on it. He has to use it mid lane, I think, before the Dragon. Or he's going to try to now to run top lane as a last desperate gambit.
Oh, Malrang can see it's running out. He could just fight him right now because you can't use it in combat. We'll see if Malrang just goes for him, hits him. There's the hit, so now he's in combat. Will he drop combat? He's trying to snipe him with the E, but he just gets it off.
He gets it.
Not ideal, but better than nothing. We'll see if Rogue allow this to collapse. Targamas might be in trouble here. Just flashed away there in mid. Trymbi used the Ignite, and also fighting happening in mid. Summoner's blown for the first time this game, and now G2 trying to make sure this Herald crashes. The 2v2, Caps is catching midwave, and Larssen is moving top first, ironically. Normally the Taliyah is here first, and G2 have to be careful.
Trading. Going back and forth now. Malrang potentially in trouble. Larssen on the way up, though, could be big. Jankos taking a decent amount of damage. Herald is yet to charge. They will finally get the charge off. There it is, a bit of money into the back pocket of BrokenBlade. Malrang now going to be in trouble trying to turn back, trying to fire back, but G2 quick on the collapse. Larssen now has to retreat. The rest of his team trying to make impact elsewhere on the map. Comp pushing in the bot lane, but it was already so far pushed out by Flakked that there is no response here.
Odoamne's quite low, no flash. BrokenBlade's ulting to make sure the wave can crash. Odoamne has to hold the wave here and fight BrokenBlade to the death.
You said it would come down to a single moment, a single fight. This might just be it. Larssen now trying to turn the smite from Jankos again, keeping him healthy, but here comes Trymbi! Targamas immediately going to save the day. Rogue holding on. They give nothing up in the exchange.
They wanted to get the dive. Odo didn't let the wave crash. Jankos, the Gromp, saved him. He smited it, got the heal from the kill on the Gromp as well. Game of inches in that fight there. Only one kill comes out of it. 200, 300 gold lead for G2. And it was about time Trymbi showed up, right? We saw Targamas in that fight for so long, questioning where is Trymbi. Shows up just in the nick of time to push G2 back.
Ooh, an awkward situation here. Kalista normally you'd consider stronger in the 1v1, but the Gale Force already for Aphelios coming in makes it hard for them to push any greater advantage. Right now, Rogue dead even again after the Herald usage. Trades are getting harder for Larssen. Cap's doing a lot more damage. Malrang in the area.
Dragon's still up as well, both these teams. After that Herald's been used, one team has to use it aggressively, one team has to try to defend it. Rogue have defended the Herald, it did eventually crash, but now Dragon's up. G2 looking towards a Hextech Mountain or a Cloud Soul here. If they roll a good one, then that's going to have to be a Dragon that Rogue eventually have to fight, and looks like they're posturing to do so. Malrang, no flash, no ultimate, that's something they have to wait for.
Caps here first, however. Larssen forced out of lane. You can see that Taliyah damage starting to ramp up early on in the lane. You can see from the gold that Larssen was pulling ahead. And in this matchup, based on what we saw from Larssen yesterday on this Azir, high hopes, but Caps, it feels like an inevitability. Yeah, the KDA is bad because the win record's bad, but the damage share, the amount of plays this guy can make is something so hard to show in statistics. Something that has to be respected from the side of Rogue, and it looks like ultimately they're just going to give this objective up. Wow. Larssen not in position to contest. G2 grabbing another Drake for free. The Herald, both Dragons, every objective has gone the way of G2.
Almost every crab as well, just that one that Rogue picked up in the bot side river where they spotted them doing the Dragon. Dominating the map right now, G2. Looking for a little bit of chunk on this bot tower. No plates. Flakked has perfect guns for this. I think it might just die. We'll see if he can get it in time. Comp's on the way. Will he get this tower? If he does, that's a massive chunk of gold to the Aphelios in a lane which the Kalista wants to punish. And that's the power of Aphelios. Those guns shred through towers like butter. And now Trymbi trying to retake vision on his own side of the jungle.
Yeah, it's pretty nice when you can just walk into melee range and you suddenly find yourself with 2 attack speed without any attack speed items. Aphelios, fun champion. That said, you can see in the total gold, Comp's still slightly ahead, but might not matter too much if Flakked has these guns and they do try to force a 3v3.
Herald's up now. That's the next objective. Will G2 just take that uncontested again? Right now, they're on the bot side of the map trying to defend any play that Rogue might throw at them. Looks like Rogue want to force down the enemy bot tower now, get a wave in there, look for dives, try to threaten something. Of course, TPs are up. You can see that ward across the Dragon Pit there. BrokenBlade can TP to it. Unleash teleports, whereas Odoamne doesn't have the best of wards. We'll have to look for the wave. Trymbi engaged on.
Caught out, has Aftershock as well as the passive, so he's tanky for just a little bit longer. Comp gonna try to keep this fight going. Flakked, perfect guns for a fight, though. They're gonna come in anyway. Now the Taliyah all coming down. Caps the backup that they were waiting for. Free firing. Jankos slowly but surely gonna get cut down. The stun, managing to find the kill. Rogue getting one. Malrang gonna be the next one in trouble. Unstoppable, fantastic use of the ultimate. G2 biting off more than they can chew in that context. Rogue able to find the kill.
4v4 in favor of Rogue. Odoamne TP'd down. BrokenBlade almost single-handedly took the kill onto Odo as he TP'd in, so couldn't impact the fight. Maybe if he was full HP, he could have chased down, but BrokenBlade using every tool he has to try and chunk him out as much as possible because he wants to get this top tower, and I think he might be able to do so. Saves his TP, so summoner advantage to G2, kill to Rogue.
Definitely something good to have. Odoamne, you can see on the bottom side, just about to finish that gold, so we'll get a gold injection, balance out some of the gold that BrokenBlade was able to pick up, keep the gold relatively even, but it's an incredibly back and forth game. Yeah, and again, still 1-to-1 the kill score. Yeah. Very quiet game, but the teams are responding so well to map movements.
Gold dead even as well. So Trymbi is the one who gets caught out at the start here. Of course, Kalista ult pulls him back, and then the fight ensues. Both top laners were looking to TP here. Flakked a little bit too far forwards, forces him out because Targamas has to use the eat. Caps a little bit late to arrive because the fight's already started and Jankos already extremely low. You can see Odoamne there, extremely low HP, has TP'd in. Maybe if he had a full HP bar, he would chase onto G2 there with a Mega Gnar and would have turned the fight. But in response, G2 get a top tower. And they've got 2 towers right now. Rogue have 0, but the gold's still in favor of Rogue. 300 to them. 2 dragons in G2's back pocket. Herald still up. Odoamne now hitting onto this bot tier 1, of course. BrokenBlade actually used TP off screen, it looks like, so both these top laners will be in isolation again for the next couple of minutes.
Oh, certainly. And Caedrel, I think we have to talk about expectations for mid-game, for team fights, for what these teams need to do, because the early game has been so back and forth. Neither side has been able to build that big advantage with the composition that they have, so what do we need to look at next?
Well, Larssen will scale infinitely right now on the Azir, so he's almost like the late-game insurance, but the single target engage that Rogue have with the Sejuani and the Volibear is extremely deadly. Luckily for G2, they have the tools to stop it. The Eat is one of them. We saw it in the last fight. The Taliyah E again will play such an important role. Jankos can buy time with the ultimate. The key thing is who can get the front line down first, and can Odoamne or BrokenBlade look for flanks, solo play the fights. You know, if a Gwen gets onto the backline, could wreak havoc. If Odoamne finds a massive Mega Gnar into Caps and Flakked, Targamas only has one person he can save.
Certainly. I think the other big thing is Flakked, obviously Aphelios scaling very terrifying, but this is what we were waiting for, finally seeing some of these engages, some of these big plays.
G2 really good disengage, you can see it right there. Caps can push them back, the Sin's ult can push them back. Here's the 1v1, the 2 top lane Titans going against each other.
Ooh, speeding up with the Ghost there, trying to chase him down. Nard back into the wall, last stack of the ultimate up and available, trying to knock him up. Nope, not gonna find the opportunity. now walking away.
Now Gnar is 1 second recast time. Don't have to hit creeps now, so BrokenBlade can just shred through as much as he would like. Doesn't have to hit creeps. And now Rogue sent their bot lane top. Larssen ideally wants to stay mid, and 40 seconds on the next dragon. It's going to be a Cloud Dragon. You want to deny souls, and Rogue want to take fights. This Kalista is at a point where if she hits her 2-item spike, probably the strongest she'll be throughout the entirety of the game, right, in this current state. You want to take advantage of that. You want to find engages. Trymbi's ult when it comes up. We'll see if they look for it.
Targamas moving down. Flakked clearing out the waves really quickly with the power of the Infernum. Now Odoamne on the bot side crucially kept his flash in that exchange. Gnar ultimate will be up for the coming fight. If he can manage the rage well, that's going to be a huge tool. You talked about it already. Flanks, angles, looking for a way into the backline can be key. For Rogue, however, they get set up first. That's going to be big for the Azir. Big for the entire team.
We're going to see a lot of skill expression in the next fight, but G2 could just opt out of the fight and get this mid-tier one, break open the map and try to control the game from a macro standpoint, ignore the dragons, and Rogue aren't allowing it. Screw the dragon, take the fight.
That's the ultimate, knocking him up. The eat where they're going. They're waiting as long as possible. Now speeding out to safety. Targamas keeps Flakked standing.
Good play there by Rogue. You know, if they went towards the dragon there, it would have been a tower trade for a dragon. So good presence of mind to actually force G2 away, take a fight, push them back, get the objective uncontested, lose nothing in return. And with so many summoner spells being up and these champions, there'll be so much skill expression. When the 5v5 kicks off, it's going to be the team fight, the team comms and the individuals to stand up and clutch these fights.
So important. Rogue, can they keep this streak going? Standing at the top of the table for now, looking to move up, looking sole control of first place as we end the week. G2, though, in the thick of it. Tough last couple of weeks. Had a win versus Strawless yesterday, but definitely not enough to feel like you're back to full strength. Beating Rogue, though, probably could be. Flakked keeping the waves cleared. Both teams waiting for that big fight, that angle for the full 5v5.
And it's a bit of a hard game for Rogue to control right now, and the reason is they haven't gotten a single tower yet. Top, mid, and bot tier 1s are up, which means the waves crash so early on that you can't push into the enemy jungle without getting collapsed on so easily. That bot tier 1 looks extremely low, could be a standing goal for them, but right now it's almost like playing the game on hard mode when you haven't taken any towers. G2, mid tower extremely low, and they've taken both sides, so it means they can push Odoamne all the way to his tier 2, and it gives BrokenBlade so much time to roam around the map and join his team. You can see him in mid now, looking for a comp.
Tahm gonna be in trouble, trying to leap backwards here. Knocked up, knocked down, shut down. Gale Force in from Flakked.
Does G2 go to Baron? Could be risky.
Good guns.
But could be a hell of a reward. Looks like they're posturing for it. They're going to start it up. Good guns, as you said. Caps is around. Odo has to TP in soon. There it is. Malrang and Trymbi. What's the engage going to look like? This Baron will go down quite quickly. Caps has smite as well.
Away. Stun going down into Jankos. Jankos getting burned down. Targamas going to eat him up, so they still have a smite in the pit. Flakked again. Perfect goes for a fight. Larssen! The Emperor himself, but is it enough? Can he get the fight going? Keep your eyes on Flakked. 20 shot group. This man is popping off. Welcome to 200 years, baby. You do not fight the white god Aphelios.
Take the risk, and there's your reward. G2 get a full ace of Baron, and the game is blown wide open. Larssen thought he saw the hero play with the stopwatch, but it's Flakked who repositions, and it's Flakked who melts them down. G2 lose their mid tower in exchange. They're going to base out now, get the item spikes. BrokenBlade picks up the Nashers. And man, G2, it looked a little bit messy, a little bit hairy towards the start of that fight. Jankos looked extremely low. Targamas clutch with the eat, the reposition from Flakked, and Caps kept himself alive with the Smite Summoner Spellbook.
Flakked backing, buying the BT, buying the extra pickaxe on his way to an Infinity Edge. And take a look back at this fight. You can see why G2 were confident to start the Bearing. Rogue forced into taking this fight.
Yeah, Jankos postures for a turn so many times. Here he gets hit by the ult, taking so much damage. Of course, Baron shreds your resistances, and it looks like the jungle will die here. Targamas clutch eat, and Larssen sees the super play, goes for the ult, but then there's no damage left. Malrang and Trymbi are split. Of course, Kalista comp is dead, so Flakked repositions with the flash. So many chakrams. Caps manages to escape against Malrang, and good play overall. The problem Rogue had there is your only damage is Larssen, and when he commits and stopwatches, G2 can just run away with the fight. Nothing to be scared of, no fear whatsoever, and that's what we're seeing here. BrokenBlade level 15, Trymbi only level 9 right now, pushing in for these tier 2s.
Yeah. Odoamne fishing for a play, going for the knockback on a BrokenBlade. Can they finish this kill, though? He's so tanky. And you highlighted earlier, the individual target, single target CC from the side of Rogue, their ability to make picks is massive, but when it comes to damage in the team fights, they just have so much less than G2, especially now as Comp kind of cresting that 2-item power spike that we talk about, looking towards 3 items. He will fall behind the Aphelios in terms of damage output.
Malrang also flashed in that last fight, so another form of engage gone. I mean, Comp, the Kalista, had a kill. was up in CS, had a gold lead, but the one single mistake has just put G2 so far ahead as a team that you can't leverage the power of the Kalista in the mid game now because you're just so far behind, and G2 want to get the spot tier 2. Rogue are going to put 5 members down here to defend it. Caps is catching midwave to put another pressure point on the map. Who's going to step up and hit it is the question. The only range champ you have here is Flakked. He has no flash. Larssen would just easily shuffle him with Targamas being in that position, so quite difficult for them to take this one down, but with Dragon spawning in 50 seconds, they have a plethora of options.
Yep, I think going to be happy with a 3K Baron power play. Not much else to get past that. Don't need to risk a full dive here. Flakked, maybe if he transitions to the Calibrum, that extra range, he can start to hit the tower, but you don't need to take a risk. You are in control. You are in the driver's seat. You got a lot of scaling in the form of the Aphelios. Larssen's scary, but G2, they want to keep this going. They split the team. Malrang and Comp waiting over the wall.
Odo.
Keep your eye on Odo. Keep your eye on the Gnar ultimate. Jankos off to the flank. BrokenBlade just looking to commit for the tower. Neither side wants to overextend. BrokenBlade skipping and slashing out to safety. Jankos on the backside the second the tower falls. It's a green light to force the fight.
That's all G2 wanted. They wanted the tower. Rogue tried to threaten, tried to show some form of life in a fight, ready to take one. But G2 get the tower, they're going to get the dragon, they're going to get deep vision in your bot side jungle, and Rogue, now it's up to you to find a response. That top tier 1 looks extremely low. You have objective bounties. That might be something that they want to look towards to try to get, as G2 use all their time to get this dragon, and they still need to base.
But credit to G2. From what we saw last week to this week, it's just such a massive turnaround in performance. Jankos talked about individual levels needing to step up. They shut down Rogue's early game plan. They limited the impact of a power pick like Kalista, and now it feels like they've taken over this game completely.
A lot of team play as well coming out from G2, always having each other's back. So when the objective spawns, when the crabs spawn, always making sure that members are ready and there at the right time to respond to any sort of pressure that Rogue wanted to put on them. Rogue got no neutral objectives, only got that one dragon. And now G2 coming back out on the map, 3-item spike for Caps. Flakked building towards that Infinity Edge, BrokenBlade going towards the Rabadon's level 16 Gwen on the horizon. That top tier 1 actually lived, so G2 winning out so much across the map, 6,500 gold lead. We'll need to wait till the next Baron to start the siege. Of course, when you're playing 2 range champs and their range isn't so big unless you have the green gun on Aphelios, it's very hard to siege. So much engage from Rogue, they're gonna need that Baron buff.
Absolutely will. And I think the difficult thing is, much as I was laser focused on Flakked in the last fight, BrokenBlade also doing a ton of damage.
Yep.
Caps doing a ton of damage. So there really are these 3 primary damage threats that have to be respected. And if BrokenBlade gets that flank, like you talked about earlier, it might not matter what the Aphelios does at all, because he has the power to tear through Larssen, to tear through Comp, if left unattended.
There's the rage bait for Comp, so he's basically at the biggest spike he can get to. 3-item Kalista. If he can dish out damage and free hit, then maybe there's a chance for Rogue. We've seen what Comp can do on the Kalista before. Had a game previously where he had 10 kills, was absolutely annihilating the enemy team, but hasn't had that chance just yet. I don't think he's been part of many fights.
I mean, we've also saw in the Misfits game, how hard is it to play around the stupid Taliyah E? There's just so little room to maneuver in these fights. Normally the Kalista, yeah, she gets to dance around a lot of these bruiser champions who want to get on top of her, skip away, throw the spears in, but how does Comp realistically ever hit Caps or Flakked in these fights?
That's the question he's probably asking himself as well, and that's almost like a Rubik's Cube that he has to dissect and figure out, because if he doesn't, his Nexus will explode and they're going to lose the game. It's on him and Larssen to dish out the damage. Rogue's top jungle and support are just there to be engage tools, just there to be frontline. There's not much outplay that they can do. Maybe they can single out Caps, but then again, stopwatch, the Tahm Kench, the flash, a lot of defensive options for G2. Now, mid-wave contest here. Rogue need to get some vision around this Baron observers. If we could look at Rogue's vision here, I don't think they see too much, and they need to see a hell of a lot more. Larssen looking for a Flakked.
Fishing for a play, desperate to get something. Gets the flash, full committal here.
Wow. It's a guessing game there for Flakked. Do I flash before Larssen flashes, or do I have to react to his flash ult? Decides not to take the risk, because if he dies there, they threw the game.
Shifting sands away here. Trymbi potentially caught out a little bit, walking away. And this is big. I mean, respect to Larssen for still having the confidence to go for those plays. Again, this is the difficult decision. If he tries to go in and go for the Azir sec, he might be in trouble. Odoamne zooming, speeding away. Force of Nature gives a bit extra movement speed, trying to get the procs here. Odoamne getting caught out, getting knocked down. Rogue now needing to make a response play in the mid lane, but they don't have the damage to fight Jankos. But Comp certainly does. Looking to finish the job now. Jungler taken down. He has the GA to buy a bit more time. Targamas can leap in and eat him when he needs to, but no. Targamas is forced out. Jungler, no! He's still alive! Targamas, the hero play, saving Private Jankos. The birthday boy still standing. Larssen stunned. He knocks him back. We wanted to know how they would get into range, and Larssen delivers them. Comp with a massive triple.
Massive triple indeed, and it's Larssen who sets them up, and it's Comp who knocks them down. 3 kills for Rogue, 2 exchanged by G2. Jankos tried to buy as much time as possible so that Caps and BrokenBlade could rejoin this fight. It all started with BrokenBlade all ending onto Odoamne, pops the ghost, Caps comes in. I think we're gonna have to look at live here because TP's coming in. It looks like Rogue want to go towards the Baron. Does G2 have the tools to stop them? 15 seconds on Jankos, Malrang's alive, Caps and BrokenBlade, the 2 solo laners.
Larssen and Comp clear this so incredibly quickly. Caps a lot of tools to protect, but the damage not going to be enough to stop this. Maybe, just maybe, he can steal it. Medic said it once before, but there's just no way he can steal this. Wait a minute! Did I get it?
Rogue got the Baron, I believe.
What?
Rogue did get the Baron. Caps did not get the steal, but he got the kill onto Odo, and it's the collapse. Jankos buying time. Comp managed to dish out damage, save Trymbi here, and it's eyes on Larssen, because it looks like the fight was doomed when Caps and BrokenBlade showed up. Yes, Jankos survives, but they're all clumped up together, and it's Larssen on the side here who sees the E, gets the stun anyway, but then flash ults a frontline Azir of all champs. You say, I've got a Sejuani and Volibear, screw that, I'll go in. Finds 3 of them, Comp cleans them up, they get a Baron, and now Rogue are back in the game.
Absolute mad lad. You see so many Azirs in professional play throw games away because they forget once they're past 1-2 items, their damage is not to make plays, it's to do, or their job is not to make plays, it's to do damage. But Larssen goes for it anyway and makes it work. Hand delivering 3 kills to Comp.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the thing. Yes, Kalista is hard to play in these fights. Yes, it is hard for Kalista to get that dream scenario where you're hitting 3 people with rune hands on every auto. But if it does happen, Comp is a very scary man.
Dragon Soul for G2. Odo Mega Gnar procced a little bit earlier than he'd like. Maybe he can engage on it. Malrang and Trymbi coming around the corner, ready on the trigger finger. Comp is the main damage dealer now. That triple kill got him so many shutdowns. He's sitting on 4 items. It looks like they're going to force it up.
The wall to put the team. Malrang on his lonesome, getting forced back. G2 with the Cloud Soul. BrokenBlade proccing the ultimate. He's going to be one very fast boy. Flakked standing back. Blue gun as well. Rogue, if they group up too much.
It's not the end of the world for Rogue. Cloud Soul, of course, one of the weaker souls. Does give G2 a lot of out-of-combat move speed and can help close the gap. But that gap is the one being closed by Rogue. So much engage tools. It's G2 that have to weather the engage and then look for turns with the Gwen, with the Aphelios, and with the Taliyah. Defensive champs like the Tahm Kench mean that they're peeling back. Comp gonna try to take away the red buff. So you can see the game's on such a knife's edge. So many players just scared to pull the trigger, scared to engage. Caps has to wall them off, make it a 50-50. And it's Jankos who comes out on top. And like we said, Larssen is the late game insurance. If that Azir gets a Rabadon's death cap, I fear for G2's frontline. I fear for G2 in general, because if he can get uptime and dish out damage, then he's going to melt through them. Very little frontline to work with. Lucky for them, Jankos' GA will come up soon, so that'll buy them more time.
Certainly will. Something we'll have to track in the fights to come. Caps as well. The heal with the Summoner Spellbook is Odoamne zooms down to the bot side. BrokenBlade very much favored, I think, in the 1v1. Odoamne, it's going to be a lot about surviving on the side lane and giving that additional impact from a big Gnar ultimate onto the back line. Such a tense game.
20 seconds left in this Baron buff. Will fade, and Rogue actually got no towers for it. Odo's going to fight BrokenBlade here. Surrender wins.
Waiting for Mega to come back up. Wall not going to find the stun. Gwen is immune, but getting hand delivered to the rest of the team. Caps on the way, but he has to just leap off the wall. He says, I'm not interested in that ride anymore.
Yeah, jumps off the express train to bot lane because he knows it's doomed down there. Good pick there for Rogue. There's the first tower falling. Objective bounty, actually, for Rogue, despite them being almost even in gold. That's because of the Dragon Soul that G2 have. Of course, 3 dragons ahead, and I think this game might come down to an Elder in 4 minutes. Rogue didn't get as much as they might have liked from that Baron, but the game is in an even state, and if you told them that 10 minutes ago, they would have grabbed that instantaneously, and G2 are the ones slowly being pushed back. I think this is one of the first times we've ever seen Rogue in the enemy jungle, popping down wards, and Comp building towards his last item.
Rogue finally having control is big. Again, Azir gets the setup first in these fights. He's going to have a much easier time, but it still feels like it might take one more Miracle engage, Miracle CC, one more push of 3 members into Comp to make this game work, because it is certainly easier in a lot of ways for G2 to execute with the reliable backline of Taliyah as well as the Aphelios.
And that's the beauty of games that, yes, can be boring sometimes, that are even up to 20 minutes, but then just explode out of nowhere with one clutch play, and you can really show your skill expression. You're not just getting slapped around by wallets and gold differences, right? So now this game's so even. Larssen, I wonder how far away he is from that Rabadon's. It's exactly the same thing that Caps is looking for. Baron in 2 minutes time, and I think that's what both teams will wait for. Unless the enemy team makes a mistake, steps up, pull the trigger, catch them out just like they did against BrokenBlade there, Rogue.
And I mean, we're looking at a preview what starts to feel like a playoffs preview, and G2 count their eggs before they hatch here. Still have a lot more wins to go, but finally seeing them play at the level we were expecting at the start of the season, and that we saw even in the first weeks. Turning to that form for Rogue, looking to maintain that consistency, and for Larssen, hero performance yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And that last fight for Comp, feeding the triple, massive, massive moment for him. Can he do it again? Can he find one more angle, one more play to potentially end the game? G2 moving into the jungle, willing to fight for every bit of vision they can.
And it looks like Rogue have identified the sign of weakness in this mid to late game. And it seems to be BrokenBlade. I mean, he got caught out the first time, and it looks like Rogue are investing 4 members to try and catch him out again, but he's learned from his mistakes. He knows not to overextend on his team's top side. Doesn't want to take that fight against Odoamne as much as he can win it. He's very aware that there could be more members around that bot side. Rogue now base going towards mid. 40 seconds on this Baron. Rogue need to get vision around any side of the river so they actually have information to work with, because right now they have nothing. Only that one ward in mid telling them which direction G2 are heading in. And Larssen will push out top, push out these waves, group up, get a little bit of vision. Malrang and Trymbi holding hands all game long.
It'll be such an intense fight. If both sides commit, this most likely will be the fight that decides the game. Bottom side, BrokenBlade continuing to push in. Stopwatches, 3 of them on the side of G2 alongside the Zhanyas. A GA for Comp can't help in the fights to come. But a lot of pressure, a lot laid on to what very well could be the final fight.
Here comes the mid-wave contest. G2 want to push in this wave, and I think they can just start up the Baron, but Rogue want to engage.
Looking for the fight immediately, trying to get something done, but don't quite see the angle, don't quite have the confidence to go for it. Cap's already pulling away, moving down towards the bottom side of the map. Keep your eyes on where the wall goes. He has the power to divide Rogue, to split them up, to make sure that they never get the full 5-on-5.
I think he's looking for Odoamne. Maybe they want to dive bot here and tell the rest of G2 to be careful, but he can collapse and go behind Rogue here. Odoamne and BrokenBlade have the TP. What is Caps up to here? What's the plan? Blue Orb will spot him out there, so good presence of mind there by Odo to know that they're making a play down here, but BrokenBlade's forcing it.
Leaping backwards, trying to zoom out to safety. Has so...
BrokenBlade
going massive! And at the same time, they're taking the Baron. Rogue are split. They don't know what to do. G2 have caught them unawares. Larssen returning to the bottom side, but Flakked is so incredibly strong. Rogue do not have the tools necessary to contest this. They have to play like absolute madmen to try to get anything done. Trymbi eaten up. Stop for now. Flakked on the backside. He does so much damage. You cannot stop this! Aphelios! The guns! The chakrams! G2 taking everything from Rogue!
And I think they can just end the game from that. The 2-man play by the solo laners of G2. The clutch team fight from Flakked with the guns. Comp tried his damnedest to take him down, but so much damage dished out. No, they're not going to end the game. They don't have a wave. They're pinging that bot wave saying, we don't have the time. But what they will get is a Baron and an Elder Dragon. Everything going in favor of G2.
And the genius there is not in the mechanical play of G2. They played it cleanly. It is in how they split Rogue, how they split the decisions. They pulled away the most powerful member of Rogue to attend to the bottom side of the map to stop G2 from ending the game. In the meantime, they took the fight that led to the Baron. Full advantage now to G2. The biggest buffs in the game you can ever imagine. The Soul, the Baron, the Elder.
Rogue are going to need the fight of their goddamn lives if they want to hold on to this game. G2 coming back with so much firepower now. This is the 3v3. Flakked, fantastic guns. Look at the chakrams already before the fight starts. And it's Trymbi who knows he has to engage here because they're losing the game. Hits Flakked, yes. But they don't have the damage on the follow-up because of the eat. Now watch Comp. He's got his eyes on the prize. It's Flakked. Absolutely sends it for the kill. But Flakked, so much damage. Those chakrams still there. GA procced. Flakked gets some room to breathe. Heals up with the BT. But now G2, so much firepower. Here they come. Rogue just gonna engage.
Pushing for the fight, looking to take down Jankos before anything else happens. Split up for now. Caps immediately off to the side. Eyes on Larssen. He is the one that matters, but he's not back. Larssen, in his moment, the Emperor of nothing as his kingdom will fall before him. G2 tearing Rogue to pieces. They were the favorites in that fight, have no doubt, but they play it flawlessly.
It's a clean house for G2, and they're just gonna close it out. Rogue knew they had their backs against the wall, and the only option was to engage, and they get wiped.
G2 moving up, Rogue moving down. A master class from G2 and the birthday boy.
Where has that G2 been over the last few weeks? What a statement game against our top team in the league. Shakes things up even more now.
I hear a loose chorus of happy birthday. Happy birthday, Jankos.
27.
Little Waffle Brothers to seal the deal. That's a EU Pro player's
EU Pro player special indeed.
And for Rogue, you know, Constellation, I think that they played a little bit of the volatile strategy with the Kalista. You can see how good comp is on the champion, but obviously as we got later, it got harder and harder. And the strength of Taliyah, even if she can get outclassed by Azir in some of those team fights, is how mobile she is around the map.
Oh yeah, and a lot to reflect on for Rogue, and I think it's a good learning experience. You don't want to just go through a regular season and win every game. You want to take a loss here and there, take it on the chin, and then fall down and get back up, right? I think they wanted that game to be a lot faster, but the second G2 got kills, they put their pedal to the metal, and they ran away with it. Couple mistakes here and there gave Rogue a Baron, but they managed to hold on. Really good play by Caps on that bot side to split Rogue up and make a, you know, the comms get really hectic when something you don't expect to happen happens, right? And BrokenBlade just ran down Odoamne and managed to just instantaneously kill him. And it was at that moment that Rogue knew.
27. What a year. What a time. And I mean, credit, again, I think it's so impressive when teams can turn around such a rough week. For G2, we know part of the reason they struggled in week 4 was they took full vacation, really, before they came back. And see if they can keep this momentum moving forward. Again, at the start of this week, it felt so uncertain who would do anything when it came to making playoffs, if anyone would start to lock things in. And just as we start to feel like, Rogue Mad Lions pulling ahead, Rogue shows some signs of weakness. But as you highlighted, better to get the losses now, to learn now, to grow now, than to learn the same lessons in playoffs when you're maybe not going to get a second chance.
Is he going to take a bite? Is he going to go face first into it? Oh, no, it's
Jankos.
for the picture. It's for the picture. 27 years old, still clapping kids.
Absolutely. Great Euphoria guest.
I mean, Jankos probably one of the most, I think, probably the most experienced player we have in the league, right?
One of the great, iconic EU pros, a reputation well-earned. He is one of your options on Key Player of the Game at LEC on Twitter, BrokenBlade, Jankos, and Flakked.
Many titles he has. First Blood King before,
First Blood
best
King.
jungler in Europe ever.
Yeah.
In the West, perhaps.
Yeah,
Birthday
probably.
Boy.
Birthday Boy.
Yeah.
It's a one-day title. Once a year.
Once a year.
Vote for who you want. You know whose birthday it is, but I'll just say that, you know, vote for who you felt like. It's a game award.
A lot of clutch moments, though. BrokenBlade,
Sure.
incredibly clutch moment on bot lane. Flakked, incredibly clutch moments in team fights. And then Jankos just getting them those early game leads.
Also, special shout out to Targamas. He pushed R at very good times, many times, and that's an unsung skill. Aphelios players appreciate you, Targamas, everywhere. Of course, when we come back, match of the week, Fnatic versus Excel, Jankos at the desk. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Miss it.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Excel, can you please forgive me? I was blind, but now I can see. The power of better couldn't break your hex. Intel better, man, Mickey X. I'm so sorry that I doubted. It's too late to do much about it, but now I know it's true. There's no playoffs without you.